Thank you, Abraham. These teachings have changed my life. I wanted to talk to you today about the step 5 and living in that high-flying space and the manifestations coming effortlessly and easily, and the people in your life, whether it's family or whoever the manifestations are, being your answer to your question and being there on that high flying.
Well, we've talked about step 1, 2, 3, and step 4 is just being really good at step 3. Step 4 is just easily getting into the receptive mode, having the tools, in other words, meditating. So step 3 is a comfortable, easy place for you to be. And step 5 is being back in step 1 and not being mad at yourself. Step 5 is understanding the enormous value of the contrast that keeps perpetuating everything forward. So it's easy to think about step 5 after a conversation like today, isn't it? Because of course you want more expansion, which means you want more exposure to more contrast in order to give birth to more desire. And so what could possibly be wrong with another step 1 moment if it's essential for the evolution or expansion of all things? And knowledge of that, you see, that's what's happened to you here today. Now you understand how this all fits together. Step 5 is a easy accomplishment, isn't it?
It seems to me it was so illogical and heady for me to grasp infinite intelligence. Like, you can't fit all the planes, trains, and automobiles in a room on the earth. So lately it's been more of the getting ready to get ready, the meditation, and then the things coming so rapidly.
Well, consider this. If you go into a general place where you try a little to accept the concept that isn't it logical that you were before you came into this body, and isn't it logical, given the emotions that you feel, that there's another part of you that has a perspective that your current perspective is playing against? Isn't that perfectly logical? So when you accept the existence of non-physical, then think about non-physical coming forward with you. This is the reason that it is difficult for people to get their thoughts around what infinite intelligence is. It's because they haven't gotten ready to get ready. And the piece that we want you to be ready for, which will make your understanding of infinite intelligence infinitely simple, is that this leading edge is where it is all happening. Which means, isn't it logical that you would be a manifested version of source energy? You are a manifested version. You are a see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version of source energy. And isn't it logical that that source energy, who's been getting ready for you, is now here with you in your further expansion? Isn't that perfectly logical? And isn't it interesting, because it's the first time Esther has ever found those words in explaining the vibration that we are offering, and yet it's perfectly logical. We were ready to have that conversation. So now, as you accept that infinite intelligence is flowing forward with you right now, then can you step back just a little bit and acknowledge that all infinite intelligence is consciousness focused with you about this right now? You don't have to think all the thoughts that have ever been thought all at once. You couldn't do that. You wouldn't want to do that. And you don't have to even think about all the thoughts that you have yourself lived or thought. You don't have to explain what you've lived through that's created your vortex. But is it ever wonderful when you find a way to be a vibrational match to that vortex. When you queue up with Source and what Source knows about you, and you live real time in that vibration on the leading edge, here and now, just like you intended to, you can comprehend that. And sometimes when you just feel such exhilaration or such keen interest in something, such satisfaction, you know what's happening in that moment? You are one with infinite intelligence. You've accomplished the vibration that infinite intelligence is feeling in that moment too. And you are translating infinite intelligence knowing into this emotion that feels like adoration of life, exhilaration, satisfaction.
For even the things that people would think would be the smallest things, it's been easier for me to look at it infinite in every little thing, the conversations, the nature, the birds, and I think of things and it manifests so rapidly now. I was even inspired last week to go back on Tinder, and I said to a friend, I think I'm going to manifest a flight attendant because I want to travel the world, and within 48 hours I manifested a flight attendant who says the world is my playground, named Abraham. Go figure.
Well, there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have, but it takes a little while to come to accepting that. And when you do, then whatever's up now, there it is. Yeah.
Can you talk a little about the invincibility in the contrast in the step 5 and focusing more on that instead of the taking you back to step 1, and maybe there's something you can offer us to be there more often? I mean, I know the meditation you say is the most powerful way to flow pure source through you, and I do that every day.
Well, there are 2 ways to know how you're doing. One is by how you're feeling, and the other is by how it's turning out. It's just sort of that way. And so just pay attention. If you're thinking and feeling on purpose and then noticing the results, that's all you need. In the early days, after Esther had a somewhat grasp of law of attraction and her deliberate thought within it, when something wonderful would happen, she would say, I did that. And then when something not so wonderful would happen, she would say, I did that too. Because there's some satisfaction in accepting your absolute part in whatever is coming to you. We liked your description of that wonderful experience of nature and the beauty of it. And Esther's finding herself actually speaking the words in those moments when she is seeing beauty. This is what feasting my eyes means. Staying with the deliberate intent. I saw it and I liked it, and I stayed longer to savor it. And when you feast your eyes, then the momentum allows you to see broader and deeper and more clearly, until you are literally looking at whatever you're looking at through the eyes of source. You have the capacity to do that, but you've got to teach yourself the capacity to do that. As you accept that you are an extension of source, then you have more satisfying moments as the extension of source. But as you have taught yourself that you're separate from source, and that source is achieved in something that you have not, and then you put yourself in that position that you need to achieve, so you're in that lackful place, then you can't find satisfaction. In other words, this knowledge of how it all fits together is so helpful. And now you have it. And so now it's just about romping through life and acknowledging and enjoying your never-ending expansion on a myriad of topics in every single day.
It's so amazing to finally be at that place in my life where I've unlearned all the crap to get to where the deeper stuff is. And these teachings are amazing.
Well, we agree with you, but we like the crap too. Because in what you're calling a variety of unwanted experiences, you're also giving birth to newer, more intentional creation. And that, what you are calling crap, is responsible for your expansion. Just don't spend so much time justifying why you're there, or explaining how you got there, or anytime you're defending or justifying or even explaining, you're holding yourself in the vibration that doesn't allow you the solution that's on the other side of that. So it's about being more deliberate about it. What you intended was to spend about 10% of your time in step 1 and 90% of your time in the savoring receptive mode. And most humans have that flipped. if even that. They spend the majority of their time. We understand it's logical because you're so good at interpreting vibration through your eyes and ears and nose and tongue and fingertips. You're so good at translating vibration into what you call reality that to do less than that seems like stepping back. But when you understand the full picture and you are less eager to translate everything through your physical senses, and you use your solar plexus more, and you care more about how you feel, and you tune to your vibrational reality, to your vortex, which you often can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch. You just tune yourself to it by tuning everything else out, by listening to the sound in the room. Then, as you begin tuning into it without resistance, then there's so much more for you to know.